Dave Foley should be standing by. But between News Radio and Kids in the Hall and a few other things, had a pretty marvelous career. Kids in the Hall, the whole shebang. All the episodes available on DVD now. And Dave Foley to talk about it at 7:46, 66 degrees on our way to 85 today. 67 now at WRIF. Dave?
Hello.
Dave, your mysterious departure. What happened? We were supposed to talk to you a while ago, and all of a sudden, Dave's not here anymore.
I don't know. I thought maybe the interviews had been canceled because I wasn't getting any call back here.
Wow. How the stories just don't match. What do you think, Mike?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're not going to put you on the spot. We're just glad to have you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Kids in the Hall, the complete series mega set. Does this have everything now?
It has, everything from the original series, the uncensored original versions of everything, and also has the 8 half hours of Death Comes to Town miniseries we did.
Wow. Now, you guys have put out quite a bit of this stuff previously, and obviously Kids in the Hall has done very well commercially, hasn't it?
I don't know how well it's done, really. It's on the shelves, so that's good. You know?
I just assume that because they put so much of it out, and it impresses me because, there's always Kids in the Hall, Saturday Night Live, there was a lot of competition between those franchises, and obviously SNL had so much behind it, but there are a lot of those people who are just Kids in the Hall people, aren't there?
We have a lot of really great fans that have, either stuck by us over all these years or new fans who've come in, seeing it in repeats or seeing it on DVDs over the years.
Yeah, my wife and I were major league fans in the beginning in '89 when you guys, I think it was '89, somewhere in there I thought I read when the show fired up and Dave, the thing that my wife and I remember all the time because we were talking about this, we were going to talk to you, and that is that bit where you take your fingers and smoosh the heads between your finger. And I remember that bit. It's like, 22 years after the fact, and I still remember that bit like it was yesterday. My God, was that funny.
I get my head crushed everywhere I go. Every time I'm walking the street, people crushing my head.
Crushing your head. And Mark was doing that, right? Who was doing?
Yeah, that was McKinney. Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God! I mean, it was just so simple, but it was so great. Just lining up that head with the fingers like this, and then smooshing that head. It was just great.
It's definitely one of the most popular things from the show.
Okay.
Well, what else would you put on the list, Dave, of things that people talk about the most over the years from Kids in the Hall?
Simon and Hecubus gets brought up a lot. I'll hear about the Daves I Know,
Yeah, Daves I Know. That holds up very well. Dean and Lex?
Bad Doctor.
Dean and Lex?
Oh, Dean and Lex. Yeah, well, those are two of my favorites.
Yeah, we actually play Dave's I Know, when the name Dave comes up for whatever reason. We get that on every now. I mean, we still play that on our morning show to this day. So,
yep.
The other day we were talking about, and this doesn't relate to Kids in the Hall really at all, but we just happened to be watching some old, was it the SNL, the Sinatra Group it was, and Phil Hartman, and we were just talking about Phil Hartman and just how missed this guy is, and you got to work with Phil, of course, for a good while.
Yeah.
Is he one of the most talented people you ever worked with? That's a dumb question, I'm sure.
Well, he is. Well, of course, yeah, he's amazing. He was probably one of the best sketch comics of all time. Great character comic. It's amazing to get to work with him for the 4 years that I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
We should have gone on a lot longer, obviously. Wish he was still with us.
Yeah, we just started rolling through the Sinatra Group, which is the one where he's got the panel of Billy Idol and Sinead O'Connor, and I got chunks of guys like you in my stool, and we rolled through him doing Clinton, and God, just what an exceptional talent. And of course, he was great on News Radio as well.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a great guy too, and what a shame. Did you ever did you get to know, or did you even want to know much about what exactly went wrong in that whole affair?
Marriages can go awry. I've had a couple of them go awry myself. But that obviously went to a very horrible place. Bryn was, his wife was also, we all knew Bryn as well, so she was, part of the family as well.
Dave Foley, Kids in the Hall, the complete series Megaset, now on DVD. And Dave, what are you working on at the moment? I know we've seen you've had various projects and whatnot. Anything special though you have coming up, or just recently?
I have a new sitcom coming up in the fall on CBS, a show called How to Be a Gentleman. It's going to be on Thursdays after Big Bang Theory.
They got a nice lineup over there.
They do. Well, they're one of the networks that's kept making sitcoms, all these years when a lot of people stopped making them. So we're happy to get in there.
And I thought, I didn't think sitcoms would really, I kind of saw that thing as dying off, but, the 2.5 Men thing, which is really interesting what they're doing there, and some of these other shows, they really have. They've managed, it's really paid off for them to stay with it. Yeah.
I think people always say the sitcom's dead, and it usually just means that people are making a lot of really crappy ones. The sitcom's a great format as long as you have good writing and, good characters.
Yeah, there certainly have been a lot of stinkers. By the way, what do you make of this Ashton Kutcher replacing Charlie Sheen? Do you think that show, the writing's obviously great. Do you think that will do well for them?
I'm sure people are going to tune in. I'm not sure how they're planning to do it, but I don't think they're doing like a Bewitched, new Darren. That would be kind of weird. Oh, look, he's suddenly so young.
Exactly. Have you ever considered doing for your career what Charlie did for his career? Do you like that little performance he did? It was kind of fun for a while.
Going publicly insane?
Yeah.
I might give it a shot.
Gets you a lot of attention for. We actually saw his show. The first show he did when he was going out was in Detroit, and I don't know if you heard it or not. It was a total disaster.
I read about it. Yeah, I heard it didn't go so well in Detroit.
No, Detroit didn't take it very well. We actually. He had a very bad stand-up to start the thing, which was a really bad idea because the whole thing started late. The stand-up got booed off the stage, and then there was about a half an hour of downtime. And the natives were getting really restless, and I don't think he understood that. And he took the stage, and the pacing was slow, and he had a lot of video things. It was bad, and man, they let him have it. It was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in the history of show business, personally.
That's what it sounded like when I just read the accounts of it. But I guess it's gone better in other places.
And it actually self-destructed a couple other places too. It's funny to analyze something like that after the fact. It was really just it was ugly. To see the crowd was really nasty, and then they started kind of shilling the crowd at the subsequent shows, and they were chanting "Detroit sucks." They would start to chant like that, and I guess people are pretty influenced by that sort of thing, and I think he did sort of worked on the show, and I think he made it a little better, but isn't anything I'd recommend you see?
No, from the sounds of it, I'm not quite sure. I don't really understand what the show is or what he's doing, but
I don't think he knew.
No, who knows?
Hey, Dave, what are the rest of the kids up to?
What is everyone up to? Well, I guess,
do you talk to the guys?
Yeah, actually, I did a short film with Scott just a couple of weeks ago, and last night as I was traveling I'm in Pittsburgh right now, and as I was traveling, I kept getting updates on the hockey game from Kevin McDonald.
Wow, what a game!
I missed it because I was flying, but it sounds like it was amazing.
Yeah, really was.
Yeah. Hey, I was reading about the original show originating from Canada, as we've talked about, but that kind of interesting, the differences in Canadian versus the United States audiences. I was reading that the content was at times edited slightly for U.S. tastes. Is that true? And if so, what were the differences? And what?
No, it wasn't really. It was edited based on who was running it. Comedy Central edited it for content and language. And they also changed the running orders to fit commercials in. But HBO ran it uncensored. We'll be on HBO. And then when the show ran on CBS, it was obviously censored again for content. And then we had an uncensored version that ran on CBC. So it's like there was always at least one uncensored version of the show. Dave,
you guys took it out and toured in 2008. Do you think you might do that again?
I hope so. We keep talking about doing it. We just haven't been able to find the time when everyone's free to do it lately.
How was the demand? Did a lot of people come out to see the shows?
Yeah, the shows did really well, and I mean, I think we played in Detroit, as we usually play Detroit, and it was fun. The 2008 tour I particularly liked because we wrote all new material for it, which is exciting.
Hey, Mark, did you go to the show?
Oh, yeah. Julie got her head crushed by Mark. We met the five after the show. It was like my Beatles moment.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm biggest fan.
We've got our huge Kids in the Hall fan in our show, and that's what it's become apparent to me over the years that this show has, when you zero in on somebody and you capture a fan, man, you really capture a fan. The people that love Kids in the Hall are nuts about it, and there almost seems to be kind of a, I don't know so much with Mark, but a competitive thing like, Kids in the Hall is the best, sort of like Beatles, Stones, SNL, Kids in the Hall.
It is.
Yeah. I know, and it's nice. I mean, I definitely, doing those live shows, we really got a chance to, meet the fans, and definitely, Detroit's always been a really good city for us whenever we've come through there.
Well, I was always amazed to see how strong the fan base was for that. Considering SNL and the resources they had, and these different casts over the year. I mean, they're really some of the best people. And Kids in the Hall really gave them a run for their money, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I guess it's sort of a different way of doing it. I mean, Saturday Night Live is the show is. The show is the star, I guess, of Saturday Night Live, and, they can keep replenishing the cast and keep renewing themselves. But with Kids in the Hall, there was no way that you could ever...
you couldn't replace anyone, could you?
No, we couldn't replace anyone. If anyone left, that would be it. That would be over. And, if it's not that five group of guys, it's not the Kids in the Hall.
God. Well, I always thought it was absolutely hysterical, and we watched it all the time. It was SNL that had their so many of their bad moments. It seems like Kids in the Hall was something that was steady great. You could rely on it to be downright funny. Matter of fact, earlier today, knowing you were coming up, we were looking at the old anal probe.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The infamous anal probe.
Well, that one was one that I wrote.
Figures.
Yeah, it was kind of a, and part it was kind of a bit of a, it was kind of about making a sketch comedy show.
Yeah. Well,
churning it out. Dave, Mark was just asking me to get the behind-the-scenes story about the Touch Paul Bellini contest.
I think it was Bruce's idea.
Mark can probably tell you.
Oh, I thought there's a story about the network wanting you guys to do, like CBC wanted you guys to do a contest of some sort to.
Yes, they did, and that was what we came up with.
Paul Bellini has to be the most absurd character. I mean, he's not really even a character, but just the most absurd idea you guys did.
Yeah, it was a strange thing that got on. I mean, I guess it just came out of Scott, being in a bathhouse with Paul Bellini and seeing him in a towel.
Which is
great
true.
image.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, it's all there. The Kids in the Hall, the complete series mega set on DVD. And Dave Foley, I'm glad we did catch up with you. I don't know what happened, if they lost you or you lost them, or it sounds like they lost you.
Yeah,
but
not sure, or maybe AT&T.
We'll blame it on AT&T. That's a good call. But we sure appreciate the time, and best of luck to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
We'll look for you on CBS.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See ya.
Oh, man, that's funny.
The Bellini, that's got to be a true story about the bathhouse, because Bellini is openly gay, and of course so is Scott.
Uh-huh.
So they must have really been in a bathhouse together.
I remember Scott from Larry Sanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a writer. Yeah. God, he was great on Larry Sanders.
Oh, God, yeah.
Here they describe Kids in the Hall, a large cult following. It's hard to say somebody has a large cult following, but they did have a large cult following.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, there are people that really lived and died with that show. And it's interesting, too, that, here's Saturday Night Live just bringing the talent at you over and over. And, this guy left and that guy. Yeah, but here comes this guy and this guy and this guy. And here, these guys that, like he said, if one guy left, it was over. Mm-hmm. You could not replace it.
That's the best thing they did, though, was end after the 5 or 6 years.
Right, and to keep it together, too, that, these five people obviously worked brilliantly together, and so it's one way to do it.
Didn't I read, though? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's surprising considering their backgrounds. They're really three separate guys, because Bruce and Mark worked together, Kevin and Dave worked together, and then Scott was on his own, and yet, instead of fighting together, they all worked together.
I thought I read at the end that it all collapsed because they were fighting so much.
Oh, they never thought
it ended.
You got it. They never thought they'd work together. They were supposed to do more than one movie, but Brain Candy was a big failure.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's where he points out they were fighting during that.
Oh yeah,
and that's what killed it.
Exactly.
What was wrong with Brain Candy?
It just bombed.
It did.
Yeah.
Did you think it was funny?
Yeah, but I'm a very biased opinion. I think everything they do is funny. So. Even the really bizarre stuff.
Well, when you get something that's that specific, and when you see five guys work together like that for a long time, you sort of are in their head, and you probably are thinking the same way they are, or you're willing to think the same way they are. Well, interesting. He's going back to sitcom land. Of course, that News Radio was that was a great show, big hit.
Oh my God, what a show that was!
Look at the talent on that show. David Spade, Andy Dick, Phil Hartman, Dave Foley,
Joe Rogan.
I remember when Phil Hartman tried to quit smoking. Do you remember that episode?
Yes. That was great.
They'd be talking to him, and he'd be holding it in, and holding it in, all of a sudden, it would just come out. Then he ended up inside that glass enclosure on the air, and it was so white with smoke that you couldn't see him anymore.
That reminded me of...
Oh, my God.
Have you seen those? You probably haven't seen these because they've been in airports in the last 5 or 6 years mostly. These glass rooms, like Toronto has one where you can smoke, and it's an enclosed glass room in an airport, and if you walk in there, you will smell like cigarettes for the rest of your life. It is so smoky. Every chain smoker on the planet is in there just blowing it out. And it's like, oh my God. And when I saw Phil do that thing, I just seen one of those for the first time, and I thought, oh God, those are so sick.
Not so far from the truth, huh?
No, not really.
You got to really want a cigarette's going to kill you in there.
Yeah,
wow.
One of these days.
Oh, my